All right, here we go with 6th grade Excel, lesson number 45. We're learning about Venn diagrams and to learn about the union and intersection of sets today. This is really tricky stuff. It's brand new. I think if you watch the lesson though and you pay real good attention to it and maybe watch it a few times, I think you'll be able to get it, but it is very tricky. I'm warning you about that right now. Okay, the intersection of the circle, triangle, and rectangle shown on the left results in a set that contains only the numbers that are inside all three figures. So you see the triangle here, and so the numbers that are in the triangle, you know, all those. Then if I put the circle in, these two numbers are not inside the circle. And then if I add the rectangle in, this number is outside of the circle and the triangle, and so the only number, these are in the circle but not in the rectangle too. And the only number that's left in there is the 5. That number is in all three shapes. The union of these same sets results in a set that contains all the items that are inside of the three figures. So let me clear this off. You need to learn the difference between intersection and union. Intersection is the numbers that they all have in common, that all of them contain, whereas the union is all the numbers in all the different sets. So you can see the union of these three sets is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Every single number you see. All right, intersection and union. We're going to use these different sets of numbers up here. Excuse me, 4 sets, A, B, C, and D. It says the union of sets A and B is the set that contains the elements in either A or B. So A has 0, 1, 4, 6, and 8. B has 1, 3, 5, 8, and 9. The union is 0, see, 1, which is actually in both of them, then 3, which comes out of that one, and then 4, and then 5, 6, 8, and 9. So you can see it's all the numbers that are in both of these sets. That's called the union. All right, the intersection of sets A and B is just 1 and 8, because it's the numbers that are in both places. You can see that we have a 1 in both sets and an 8 in both sets. That's called the intersection. A null set or empty set contains no elements. The intersection of sets B and C is a null set. Again, let me get that off of there. B and C, if you go through each one of these, there's no numbers that are the same in both B and C. So that would be an empty set or a null set. The intersection of sets A and C is not a null set. Intersection of these two, there's a 0 in each one. Okay, so we would put the number 0 inside of our set for the intersection of A and C. 0 does not mean that it's empty. That actually counts as a number. Null set means that nothing at all is in there. It says use the above sets A through D to answer the following question. Excuse me, which elements are in the union of A and C? So we're going to do this one together. Again, let's get that cleared off. The union of A and C. You go back up here and you look. Union is all the ones that are in either A or B. It's all the numbers that you see. So A and C, the union, we're going to put a little bracket first. Everybody do this on your paper. If I'm going too fast for you, then pause the video. We've got a 0. Okay, we've got a 1 would be like the next number. Let's kind of keep them in order. The next highest number I see here is a 4. Then I see a 6. And then there's a 7. And then an 8. Now I've got all the numbers from this one at this point. There's a 10 now, a 12, and a 14. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure you count that you have 9 numbers that you wrote down there. That's the union. Okay, I'm going to skip to number 3. Actually, let's go ahead and pause the video. Do number 2 on your own, just number 2. Turn the video back on when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, C and D. The union of those, you got 0. Oh, let's put our bracket on there first. Then you have a 1, a 3, a 6, then a 7's in both, but that doesn't really make any difference as long as it's there. 8 out there, 10, 12, and 14. All right, the intersection is numbers that are in both sets. So A and D. I see a 0. I see a 1. There's no 4 in the other set. There is a 6. So 0, 1, 6, and there's an 8. So that's got quite a few. 0, 1, 4, and 6. All those numbers are in both sets. Pause the video, do number 4, turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. Okay, the intersection of C and D, I see a 0 in each one. I see a 7 in each one. And then the rest of these are too high. They would be out here. So 0 and 7 with brackets around it. All right, now next is the really hard part. Oh, go ahead and pause the video, do 5, 6, and 7. Turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. Okay, intersection of A and B. Intersection, there's no 2 over there. There's no 4. There's no 6. There's no 7. Oh, there is a 2 down at the end. Okay, so the intersection is just going to be the number 2. Actually, I didn't need that comma in there. The union of B and C, that's all the numbers that you see here. 3, oh, we should have started with a bracket. 2, 7, 8, 5, and 9. What order you put them in doesn't really matter. Intersection of B and C, I see a 3 in both of them and a 2 in both of them. And that's it. So 2 and 3. All right, now to the part that's pretty tricky. We're going to learn about Venn diagrams, and you're going to be given some information where it's like they did a survey or they asked some questions of some people that voted on something. They're going to give you a total number of voters, and then they're going to tell you how many voted for A, how many voted for B, and how many voted for neither A or B. And what you then have to do is fill in how many people voted for A only, how many people voted for A and B, and how many people voted for B only. The way you're going to do that is you're going to go through 5 steps. This paper that you're seeing right here is not, I know, on your lesson. This paper is available on the class website. If you go to the binder handouts or the binder section or something like that, the notebook section, and you look under there and it says Venn diagram, just click on that. You can print it out and you can have this paper in your binder so that when you get to these problems, you have a little bit of a help. So the 5 steps you go through are pretty simple. You take the total number of voters that they tell you and you subtract how many people voted for neither A or B. And that gives you your A, B voters, the total number of voters that voted for A and B. Then what you do is you add together your A and B votes, and that gives you your total votes. Not voters, not people, but actual votes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the total votes and you're going to subtract the AB voters. So you're going to take this one, subtract this number here, and you'll get the number that's both A and B. And that is this number that goes right in here. Then your last 2 steps are pretty simple. You're going to take the A number up here, you're going to subtract the both number right here, A minus the both, and that gives you your A only, and that one's going to go in here. Then last of all, you take the B number right up here, subtract the both number, and then that's going to give you your B only numbers there. Okay, looks confusing. Again, print it out off the website, and once you see some problems, you'll see it's really not as tricky as you might think, especially using this little helper sheet. Okay, here's a sample problem. Of 31 students in a class, 14 like to play baseball, 18 like to play soccer, and 4 do not like to play either sport. So what we're going to do first, here's a chart of how it's done. We're going to draw 2 circles if the circles aren't drawn for you. And I don't know why they put the 14 and 18 on the inside. We would want to put the 14 and 18 up here. We start off with 31 voters, and we are taking away the 4 that voted for neither. So that gives us the number 27. Here's the number 4 out here on the Venn diagram. So you're going to draw 2 circles like that, and then you're going to have the 4 on the outside because they didn't vote for baseball or soccer. They voted for neither one. Okay, so there are actually now 32 votes, but 27 people who voted. So the third step is that you're going to do 32 minus 27. That's this number minus this number. Total number of votes minus the total number of voters, which gives you 5. 5 is how many people voted for both. We write it in on our Venn diagram right in the middle. Then we do the number 14 up here minus the 5. 14 minus 5, that gives us 9. 9 people voted that they only like baseball. Then 18 minus this number 5 in the middle gives us 13. 13 voted that they only like soccer. And it says that we can figure out that our answer is right by adding up 9, 5, 13, and 4. And that should come out to be 31. And they told us at the beginning of the problem that 31 people were in the class that voted. So that comes out to be right, that there's 9 that like baseball only, 5 that like both, 13 that like soccer only, and 4 people that don't like either one. All right, let's keep going. Venn diagram for this problem right here. We're going to do this one together. Take a look at that cheat sheet that I gave you that you printed out that's not part of this lesson to help you to go through the steps. First of all, we're going to draw 2 big circles. These circles have to overlap, so everybody do that on your paper. There are 47 people took on a trip to Rome. 32 took a side trip to Florence. I'm going to put an F right here. And 38 took a side trip to Venice. 8 stayed in Rome the whole time. That means they did not go on a side trip to either Florence or Venice. Remember, there's 47 altogether. Take a look at that little helper sheet. Okay, now what's the first thing that we're going to do now that we have this Venn diagram set up? Well, we have to take the total number of voters and subtract the neithers. So we show our work each step of the way. 47 minus 8, that's equal to 39. So now we have 39 total votes that were cast, or total voters, excuse me. And then we're going to add up our total votes, which is 32 and 38. So we put 32 plus 38, and that number comes out to be 70. Okay, now if you look at step 3 is that we're going to subtract the total number of votes minus the total voters that voted on both A, in this case F and V. So I do 70 minus 39, all right, and that's going to be, let's see, 40 to 70 is 30, so that's going to be 31. There's actually 31, remember that's the both number. 31 that took a side trip to both Florence and Venice. Now on the Florence side, there were 32, and 31 that did both, so 32 minus 31 means only one person took a trip to Florence only. And then 38 people went to Venice, and if 38 went to Venice, 31 went to Venice and Florence. That leaves us with 38 minus 31, which is 7. 7 people went to Venice only. Then we fill in our answer part here. Florence and not Venice, that's 1. Venice and not Florence, that's 7. Both of them, that's 31. When you reach consensus on this, you must not only match here, but your show work on the chart and your show work here must match your partner in your consensus process. So these take a while to reach consensus on. Once you do a few of them, they shouldn't be too tough. Of course, I'm always there for you to help you out when you get stuck. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.